Well, I'm just really incredibly excited today to welcome to the bridge the Staves. They've got the new album Good Woman coming out February 5th, and they also have a ticketed streaming performance on February 5th as well. And if you'd like to check that out, it is dice.fm. Camilla and Jessica, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Jon. Thanks.
It is just a spectacular record. Congratulations.
Oh, thanks. You. Thanks so much.
It's, I was thinking about this a lot. It's like when people have like events happen in their lives, it's like, an album follows. But you all had like a lot of events happen in your lives. You lost your grandmother a couple of years ago. 2 weeks after that, you lost your mom unexpectedly. And Camilla, you had a breakup in there. And it's just like all of that stuff together. I wondered if that, how that led to sort of like one of the themes of the album, which is womanhood, sisterhood, and motherhood.
Well, I think, it is inherent in us being three sisters that there is, there's always a theme of womanhood in what we do, sort of by virtue of our existence, but yeah, like you said, losing our mum and our dear grandma, and then about a year after that, Emily gave birth to a baby daughter. So it was like just this very strong presence of women and good women, well, we like to think. So and the song Good Woman is one that came from Millie, and she had begun the song in the early demos. It was one of the first songs that you had written for the album, wasn't it, Millie?
Yeah. So I guess that we would have started demoing that in 2017 maybe?
I guess so. And so the song had existed for a while, and by the time we'd actually finished the record, it felt like no other song could be the title track. Like it had to be Good Woman. It just made so much sense. It was already written in the stars, I think.
I got a sense, Camilla, that it was an exploration of what it means to be a good woman. What is a good woman?
Yeah, certainly. I think I think in general we're fed quite a lot of conflicting messages by society and by media and by people and all that sort of stuff of what we are supposed to be as women, and a lot of it is very conflicting and very not dangerous, very it's a lot to take on. We're supposed to be everything to everyone. We're supposed to be independent but also meek and strong but fragile, and all these things that are very difficult to be all at once. And at the same time, I was in a particular relationship where I think that the message that was being projected to me was that in order to be a good person, a good woman, I had to carry all my stuff as well as the other person's stuff, and not complain really and keep my mouth shut. Which Jess will know is not very like me. So I think in that song, I just wanted to explore, well, what do I think? What do I think makes a good woman? Trying to block out all the noise and all the chatter. And I guess by the end of it, it becomes slightly more defiant. And I guess I come to the conclusion that I am, because I think I am, and that's all that matters.
So the defiant part sort of got its voice with you all, like sort of shouting, "I'm a good woman" in a barn.
Yeah.
It's true. And Millie was doing that and was kind of saying, does it sound bad? And is it too much? And do I sound, weird doing that? And we were just saying, no, absolutely. You should be, screaming the lyric, "I'm a good woman, I'm a good woman, I'm a good woman" over again. It's really powerful and it's great. And I think, I think it comes across in that way. And then one of the things we did on the album, and particularly on this song, is we liked to layer up vocals, but we'd do some in the studio, and then we'd take a field recorder and go and walk outside and sing, and then go into a different space like a barn that you were talking about. And actually the barn in particular was more like, I guess, a kind of echoey warehouse, but they called it a barn, not a kind of wooden barn. So it's a very echoey space. And we like the idea of layering all these sounds up on top of each other. And in Good Woman, there's also some layered recordings of women speaking, including a snippet of our mum and our grandma and some of our friends in there. And I think the idea is to communicate that inner chatter that Millie was talking about, and the chaos, I think, that sometimes is someone's mind, if that could be, you know, amplified.
Well, you say what you want, and you never go back. And that song is a song, even buried in the black. Well, I cover my mouth, and I straighten my back. Well, I cover my mouth, and I straighten my back. I'm a good woman. I'm a good woman. Be kind. In the light, I feel like a fool, 'cause your game isn't fun if I never know the rules. And you're measuring out, but you're coming off cruel. And you say what you say and you send me away. Now you're on me like I'm a good woman. I'm a good woman. But who will build statues of me when I leave you all behind? And I'm carrying weight, but I know it's not mine. With half a heart, it's hard to stop, but I feel as though I'm a good woman. I'm a good woman. I'm a good woman. Come on, I'm a good. Radio Lafayette, we've been the Staves.
Our guests today are Camilla and Jessica from the Staves. The new album, Good Woman, is going to be released on February 5th with a live streaming performance, also February 5th, and you can find out more about that through dice.fm. You know, we talked about all of the sort of difficulties and crazy life events that led up to this, and I got the sense that when all that stuff happened, the three of you sort of circled the wagons around each other. You stopped recording, you stopped touring, you dropped your management, you took control, and not everybody maybe agreed with all of your choices.
It's almost like losing control in order to gain control, I think. You know, if somebody's going through something very significant in their life, you know, a hardship like grief, you need people around you to carry you. And for us, it wasn't one member of the band and the other two could carry on. It was all of us at the same time. So it was almost impossible to sort of soldier on. And we did try for a bit, and it just it just didn't work. So yeah, we took the time that we needed, and actually everyone around us working with us was really supportive. I think it was more our own concerns that the longer we were away and the longer this record kind of, you know, dangled over us, this unfinished thing, the more we felt that we needed to get back in the saddle and do it. So it was probably about a year, and we've been calling it was like our lockdown, where we kind of disappeared and stayed at home and didn't really do a huge amount apart from kind of recover. And then sadly, the same thing has been imposed on us again.
Yeah.
A little too soon. But by the time we came, I don't know, emerged out of the fire, the phoenix from the flames, or whatever you want to call it, we felt ready, and we got in touch with John Congleton, who produced the record, and we were going to go to LA and work in John's studio, and it ended up that he came to London. So we kind of said to John, you know, we've got all these songs and we've been producing them ourselves and we have all the demos, but we've lost perspective. And John was so great to say, you're on the right track. I think this is really good. And I'm, you know, you guys have something to say and I want to help you say it. And it was, we needed it so much at that point. And so then after that, everything kind of became a lot easier.
Yeah.
You know, I got the sense that one of the reasons that Congleton was on your radar was because you wanted to make like a bold record, you know, and that he was really like one of those people that was capable of helping you deliver your vision. But the surprising thing was how much he cared about what you had to say.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. He's, I think it's quite a thing when you find someone who is a great producer, a very bold producer, and has a very distinctive sonic style, but also is egoless enough to not feel like they have to put their stamp on it, and that's the priority. I think he strikes a really good balance between serving the artist and realizing their thoughts and their dreams for a record, whilst also putting his really distinctive, bold style on things. And he was I think the first person who said to us, I think you've got something to say and I'd like to help you do it. I think a lot of the time in the past it's been people saying they like the way we sing and they'd like to record that, which is lovely and very flattering, and you know, it's all well and good, but I think this was the first time we felt very valued as writers and as people.
Your emotion and your promises, I can hear
Our guests today are Camilla and Jessica from the Staves. The new album, Good Woman, is released February 5th. They're also doing a stream performance on February 5th, which you can find at Dice FM. You know, I want to go back. You sort of alluded to the writing being back as far as 2017. When the writing started, you all weren't even all in the same place. And so, you know, there was a lot of, you know, garage band and voice notes going back and forth. Can you describe that process?
Well, some of it was together, but yeah, like you said, there were long periods where we weren't together, and we're really close as a family and as sisters. And you know, sometimes it's cheesy to say, but you guys are my best friends.
Oh my God.
But it's true. And we've spent so much time together, more than most people would with their siblings. So to be apart was a strange thing. And I think that we ended up writing a lot of the songs kind of completely individually, which wouldn't usually happen. I mean, sometimes songs get written in that way, but they get kind of finished together. And at one point, I think we were kind of concerned that I was writing songs kind of in the vein of, you know, electric guitar and wanting them to be played with like drums and bass and electric guitar. And Millie was writing songs that were more electronic and more experimental and using her voice as an instrument and kind of lots of layers, and that actually we were kind of doing two different things, and that maybe it wasn't going to tie together. And also, as a songwriter, Emily usually comes in at a later stage and is great with, you know, with lyrics and with being a good, I guess, critic and saying this doesn't work, this works, this should go on for longer. And so a lot of the time she hadn't even been involved yet in these songs. So we kind of were, I guess, slightly adrift in, I mean, literally, but sort of, you know, in all the ways. And then there's a song called Nothing's Gonna Happen on the album. And when we came to that song, I really wanted to just write what I would call an old school Staves song, where it's, you know, it's just the acoustic guitar and it's three voices, and it really distills everything down to what we do naturally and what we've always done. And it ended up being, I think, the thing that united us all. And we sang the song live in the studio, and it took us back to exactly how we'd made that first record. And I think it was kind of a reset for us. And the song appears in the middle of the album, and it's, in a way, it's kind of central to everything. That the production can be bold, but the core of what we do will always be our voices.
You know, we talked about how long you've been writing this record. We've also talked about the life events, and a lot of the writing actually happened before these life events came along, and it sort of recast the songs for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I remember somebody saying after our mum had passed away, kind of in the vein of, she'd want you to carry on. Somebody said, you know, at least you're going to get a great album out of this. And I kind of thought, well, maybe one day, but I certainly can't do it now.
Cool sensitivity as well, bro.
I mean, you know, everyone experiences these things differently. But for me, I don't even know if the next record will be the mum record, the grief record.
I think it's going to be an unfolding thing, isn't it? With it, as grief is, as that kind of thing is.
Yeah, and I say that because I worry that people might hear the album and think, oh, this is about their mum, and then struggle to make sense of it because it's not really present, and then kind of say, oh, maybe they didn't really care about her then because she's not really in the song, which is not the case at all.
Forgive me for projecting my own experience onto you, but
no,
it's sort of
not at all.
You know, that wave of grief. But you know, after I lost my mom, you know, I think she sits on my shoulder pretty constantly. And there is a song though on the record that speaks pretty directly to the loss. I think, Camilla, maybe you wrote it, Sparks.
That was one that Jess was the main writer for.
Oh,
and
really?
I think that's the only song that is kind of wholeheartedly a love song for our mum, and kind of celebrating that triumphant love that you have for that person who's not there anymore.
Yeah, and I think at the time, you know, talking about processing something this big and how it's probably going to be, you know, a life's journey to do so, I think the lyrics are, you know, maybe not clear to anybody else, but for me they were kind of a stream of consciousness. The guitar line in the song had been written already, and it was floating around as like a memo on my phone, and we played it in the studio and I just tried singing over the top just to see if a song could be made out of this thing, as we were kind of, you know, trying to get everything together for the record. And it was one of the last ones that was written, and I think everything just came out in one go. So it was one of those, it was a catharsis, and it obviously needed to come out and be said, and so it felt like a really important one to put on the album.
You know, I know so much of this has come from your own personal experiences, but we all sort of share these things as human beings, and it's an incredibly meaningful album, and it's a gorgeous album too. And I think that when it comes out on February 5th, people are absolutely going to just go nuts over this record. It's just so good. But there is one thing that I kind of wanted to end with, and that is that for all of the things that have happened and all the meaning that's gone into this record, this is a band with a very strong, defined sense of humor. You know, and it comes out in your Spotify podcast, Dial a Stave. When you were kids, you wanted to have your own sketch comedy show on TV. Is there a comedy album in your future?
Oh God.
Oh, I wish. I mean, if we could get together with the Muppets, that would be my dream.
I mean, absolutely, that would be the dream. Yeah, we always wanted to do a comedy sketch show, and we still dream of doing that. I think we'd be too shy to do that now.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting. I think people, when they meet us, often aren't expecting us to be, and not that I'm saying aren't expecting us to be this funny, but aren't expecting us to be how we are based on our music, because I think, you know, our music isn't kind of good time songs in a way. But I think it's always been that thing that where we can be serious and have that platform, whereas when we're not playing music, we're usually just sort of having a laugh and just making each other laugh all the time. So it's been nice to be able to kind of share that side of our personalities with things like podcasts, which is just the best thing. You can just do what you want, and for some reason people want to listen to it, so it makes me very, very happy.
Well, we're really looking forward to, you know, you've done the collaboration thing before with Y Music, so why not the Muppets? And we look forward to that project.
I think it's the natural progression.
The natural progression. Y Music to the Muppets.
But in the meantime, the album Good Woman, which is, again, just really spectacular, comes out February 5th. And we're going to welcome it into the world with a ticketed streaming performance February 5th as well over at Dice FM. Jessica, Camilla, thanks so much. Congratulations. Can't wait for everybody to hear the new Staves.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for chatting.
Thanks for having us.
Take care.